So today, Chris, we're going to talk about what to do with our lives.
Oh, nice.
A nice big one.
Yeah.
Now, I was a big fan of this at school. I think you're a fan of it too. We're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, so it's a pyramid of all the human needs, and you start at the bottom, you need your shelter, your food, and it moves up to like love, belonging, self-esteem, those kind of things go to the top. But the point is you need the stuff at the bottom first, and it builds up.
And if you're hungry and you don't have shelter, then you're not really going to think about societal connection or your bigger dreams. But the point is that once you're past a certain level, if you keep trying to get things at that level, actually maybe your internal psychological needs are demanding more of you than that. So getting fancier food at rung one, when actually you're trying, your brain and your mind might be telling you to seek for bigger things, like learning, education, understanding, having a role and a say in your society. These kinds of things, they go on top of one another. I absolutely loved this when I was at school, and it blew my mind then, continues to blow my mind a bit now.
It's quite simple as well, you can kind of get it once you see it.
It's really intuitive. It's not really contested much. Used in business throughout. And one way I quite like to just use it to reinforce what happens in life is if you look at jobs and what we do with our time, they map beautifully onto this. So you've got, farmers building houses, all of these safety and security rung one things. And then you've got more societal aspects of things, like providing care, nurseries, schools, group activities to promote friendship. And as you go further up, there's more kind of achievement and mastery, education, building new businesses. But each way up, there's jobs for all of it, and education for all of it. And so when you kind of think, what should I do with my life? Well, actually, any of these along the way and what fits with you. And it's not as though if you let's say you want to work in catering or the food industry, it doesn't mean to say that you're only ever going to be providing value at safety and security level or physiological needs at the bottom. You might start to take over the business and then have a bunch of restaurants. And so you then go into having a brand or an idea, so then you move even though you're still in the food industry. So there's a lot of shifting around the value you provide. And I think this is quite an interesting thing in itself, because personally there's so much where money is a surrogate. Money is not the actual signal. And we do get caught up, and there's so much around us in society, culture, media, banging on about money. And money's close to the real signal. The real signal is value. So when you provide value along with Maslow's hierarchy here in any of these roles, it's likely you're going to get paid for it somehow.
Because it's valuable to society.
Because it's valuable to society and yourself. Now, if you get the same amount of monetary value, well, money as a surrogate without the value, that's why maybe it's put out there that lottery wins aren't the same. Maybe inheriting a lot of money is not the same. Because there is an inherent, well, you didn't earn it. Well, what do you mean by you didn't earn it? Well, you didn't give the value. I appreciate someone else spending their money, or they might enjoy their spending the money more if they built something ground up, felt like they earned it, changed the way society works around them, and then have contributed something. So they get not just the money, but they get all these other bits of value for themselves in Maslow's hierarchy.
So when you look at the top, self-esteem and self-actualization, people will have an idea that they'll have to start a business or get to the top of a business, make a lot of money to get those things. You could have a job that's not perhaps as grand, but it's fulfilling a service in the society. And you can get your self-esteem and your self-actualization through the people you're with, the people you spend time with, and how you relate with yourself.
Absolutely. Arguably, there's a lot of people in very high-powered jobs that don't have much autonomy or time.
Self-esteem.
And they're on multiple other podcasts and things that I listen to moaning about how difficult it is being at the top.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will have made that decision to not go for the really big roles because it will be traps on your time and locking you into certain things. So if you've got a business in your community and you're having a great life, and this is in the Morgan Housel podcast too, maybe you've won at that stage. But it's all about what you want, right? And what you choose to want. And if you're chasing after a surrogate for the sake of it being a surrogate because it might give you something later, then maybe you're in a chase which may have no end. But this seems to this coming back to the, rather than chasing that money, which is a surrogate of value, back to the actual value based on the actual needs that humans have, seems a nice, important way of looking at it. And it can really ground you in what you're doing. And give you a framework, because you can keep chopping and changing throughout your life. You don't have to stay at one. And another aspect to this is kind of like this, do you get into the fear-mongering of new technology?
I love technology. I am a bit scared of quick, big change.
Yeah. I mean, that's reasonable, it's understandable. But I mean, I would use this framework again to say that it's not necessary, and we've been here in the past as humans. Technological changes have come about at certain times where everyone is very scared, understandably, that they would lose their jobs and that there'd be no chance for them to get back, to be invited back into this new world that's coming. And whilst that did happen, in the past for some people, when some industries were closed down, it left people shut off and not able to access more. I would argue that in this day and age, even with change coming, we're probably better equipped to be able to mold around it. And this technology should be able to free us up. In the past, whenever we've had technology, for example, going for agricultural tool use, then going on to the Industrial Revolution and transport, machines, factories, all of these things have led to changes in how we live and work, how we spend our time. In some instances, it's led people to be more free. With transport, lead you to meet more people, access more opportunities. Now we're making a video to you. I don't know where you are in the world, but we might be uploading this in a few hours from us having this discussion. And this was never possible before. So maybe it's even easier now to mold around the changes that are coming. And it'll free us up to do more things of value. We'll be able to create more value. And, let alone the 16th century, pre-industrial times, even in the 20th century, less than 100 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to guess what kind of jobs are available today. So we can't guess what kind of jobs are available tomorrow, or in the future with the new technologies that are coming. And that's not just AI, that's big power, that's kind of abundant power, biotech, all of these things, they're going to change. They are changing things so quickly. I think that it's quite exciting, and that what humans have shown is that we have that imagination and creativity to come up with new things. But you can only come up with the new things once you're in that new place. On this side of when that place hasn't fully formed, you can't build that new world and that new life, all those new opportunities. But I think we will, because we have done in the past. And if anything, all of these technologies should help us to do that.
Yeah, nice. I think it's easy to feel negative, but you've given some positives there.